What's good, YouTube? Quinn Wade coming to y'all with a hot topic. Today we're going to talk about Brookie Lopez changing another jersey, going to the Milwaukee Bucks, um, the hometown team for me. To me, this is a good little pickup. Brook Lopez had a good start to last season, didn't end it really well, but he never played terrible. He never was a bad pickup for them. Obviously, when they made the move, they were just making the move to try him out, and also his salary came off the books last year. So let's see if Brook Lopez, let's see if he's good. Let's see how he is as a person. Let's see how he is as his work ethic. And in the beginning, it looked like he was going to have another solid season. Um, in the beginning months. He had a pretty good season. The numbers don't tell you the whole story. Going into November, October he averaged 11. November he averaged 14 a game. December he averaged 11. January he averaged 9, and he averaged 12 in February, 18 in March, and then ending the season with a 10 points per game. And on top of that, he averaged 13 points total, 46% from the field, 34 from three, 70% from the free throw line, which is low for him. That's a career low. Besides the 11-12 season when he shot 62% from the free throw line, but he only had 5 games, 4 rebounds a game, 1 assist, 1 block. That's solid numbers. And if you look at the Bucks roster, they have John Henson, a guy that they're paying $11 million to per year. Hasn't really been as consistent. Some games he makes a huge impact. Some games you can't tell. I can say the same thing about Thon McCarr. Some games he seems like he has the potential to be a superstar. In some games he just doesn't. But he is 21 years old, so can't really expect him to be dominant. Even though you see Devin Booker putting up those type of numbers, Thon doesn't have the body. He doesn't have the size. He has the length and the wingspan, but he doesn't have the consistency, and that's why he's not a great player now. But I feel like when the Bucks drafted Thon, they knew it was going to be a long-term process to get him to where he is now. Obviously, they lose. They got to sign DiVincenzo. They might bring back Jason Terry, and Tyler Zeller is only on a $1 million deal, but he's not as skilled as other centers like Brook Lopez, a guy that can stretch out the floor, knock down threes at 34%. Like I said, that's respectable. Is it where you want to be? No, you want to be 36 or above, but it's not too far off. And considering that he had up and down touches throughout the year, that's pretty good. And I feel like this Bucks team needed somebody to give them some versatility with Giannis, not knowing if they're going to bring back Big Bari with Chris Middleton. It is good to have that other weapon, especially because he can really still post up and dominate inside. If you look at some of the Lakers games, he showed that he can finish around the rim. He has hooks. He has post moves still. They just want him to play as a stretch five, which is the NBA. I'd rather my center get easy twos because he can shoot high from the field, then shoot spot up threes and shoot 34%. Yeah, 34% ain't bad, but if he's around the basket, he can average more points by just getting higher shots. And the highest shots is the ones that's around the basket, which is the post, what is the lob, what is the tip ends. And if he's able to do stuff like that, he can really impact the game and dominate. But he never really been an inside dominant guy because he doesn't get rebounds, and he never been known as a defensive player in general. But he doesn't rebound well, and he's a solid shot blocker, um, better than Zeller, obviously, a little bit better than John Henson, who like I said has been inconsistent since he's been with the Bucks. They average around the same amount of blocks. It's just Brook Lopez average more points, which is not really surprising considering he's more skilled and he has more offensive repertoire. So I think this is a solid pickup for the Bucks. Um, this deal is something that they needed. They have a weakness in the center position. Giannis is an excellent rebounder for his position. He can play the three, he can play the four, and sometimes he can play small ball five. And it's really not that small because he's already over 6'10". So um, it's not really that small. So at the end of the day, this team is one of the better teams. Obviously, you have Mike Budenholzer, offensive and a defensive genius. Maybe he can get some things out of Brook Lopez other coaches couldn't get, especially with his ability to have that pace and space, ball moving offense. It's good to have a threat like Brook Lopez who can score in a multitude of ways. Um, Inside and out with the floaters, with the push shots, with the jumpers, with the post ups, and that does add another dimension that the Bucks hasn't had. They had it with Greg Monroe, but Greg Monroe couldn't shoot. Greg Monroe didn't have floaters. Greg Monroe couldn't shoot the three, and that's something that they now have in Brook Lopez. And um, they still have some cap space, so we'll see what they do with Jabari Parker. Um, this is a 1 year deal for Brook Lopez, so they're renting them. They're trying them out, and it will be more money next year because more teams will have more cap space, and they can either try them out and get them back, or let them walk and get their salary back. Um, at the end of the day, it's only $3.3 million. He doesn't really fit their age group, but this is a pickup that it's low risk, low cash, low years, and you're really not losing or gaining anything that's going to hurt. He's not going to come in here try to take over and be the best player on the team. He's going to come in here and do his job, do his role, and he fits what they're trying to do. He's what Thon Maker is going to be in the future, but he's not that now. Obviously, Thon may be a better rim protector and a better rebounder, but I feel like if Brook Lopez was really forced to get down there and bang, and the coaches wanted him to be more of an inside presence, I think he could. I just feel like the coaches want him to have that finesse game and a mid range and above game. I think he can get you 6 to 7 to 8 to 10 rebounds a game. It just nobody demanded him or wanted him to really do it. They just let him be him instead of him getting forced to change and becoming more of an interior player. But the Bucks did need this. Giannis is a guy that likes to handle the ball. He likes to get to the rim, and when you have a guy like Brook Lopez that can stretch out that floor, and then you have a guy like Chris Middleton, you have Jabari Parker, you have Eric Bledsoe and other guards on this team that can be respectable from three. At the end of the day, that's something that makes them more versatile. They got Brogdon that can play the two or the one. You have Tony Snell that can knock down threes. Also, Ursan Ilyasova can play the four, while Brook Lopez is playing the five. And you can have Giannis at the three, getting to the paint, making plays, whether it's passing, pick and roll, or just getting to the basket, finishing with dunks. Or you remember he added that little face-up game where he can post up a little bit with a fadeaway. Um, this is a good move for them. They have a solid roster. They don't have the appeal of getting big name free agents, and I feel like this is a need to me that they've been trying to fill for a while. Is trying to get more versatile and more better offense. And even though Brook Lopez isn't the best defender, he can block shots, he can contest shots, and he is a smarter basketball. He has high basketball IQ. He just doesn't try hard enough defensively. And like I said, defense is a thing you have to want. You have to want to guard. You have to want to protect the rim. You have to want to be good on the switch. And I feel like he's not going to be that terrible on the switch either. He's a mobile big. He's not small. He's not skinny. He's a long, lanky, tall 7-footer that can clear up and make up space. So even when you have guys like Middleton and Giannis that are great defenders for their size, and you can include Malcolm Brogdon, this team can be very scary. Especially if they can get Brook Lopez to dominate switches. So if they switch, there's always going to be a mismatch, and Brook Lopez got to be trying to crash the glass and punish these smaller guards, and he has the ability to do that with that post-up game and that floater game and that hook game. So at the end of the day, this is a low risk, high reward move. Best case scenario, he becomes a stretch five that can really give you 10 to 12 to 13 points consistently. That's something that John Henson can't do. That's something that Thon still hasn't been able to do. And that's something that Zeller was able to do, but he wasn't able to do it in the Milwaukee Bucks uniform. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what direction they go in. we'll see if this works. But like I said, you're not giving him a lot of money. This isn't a long-term commitment. You're not signing him to the contract that they did with Greg Monroe. You basically paying him pennies on the dime to come in here and get rented, and at the end of the day make an impact. And this is the type of team and this is the type of coach that can utilize him the best way. And I don't see why he wouldn't want to go to the Bucks. This is damn near a guaranteed playoff team, and he can get back to the playoffs. That's something he didn't do with the Lakers. He got less touches. He was utilized less, and at the end of the day, he might be utilized a little bit more, and he might get as more touches. But he also might have a chance to make an impact in the playoffs again and potentially get out of the first round. I think this is just as good as this is one of the better moves. And he stayed on the market. He waited, and this is a good pickup for him in the Bucks. I think this is a fair deal for both teams. And at the end of the day, I like this pickup for the Milwaukee Bucks. Let me know what you guys think about Brook Lopez going to the Milwaukee Bucks. Do you think it's a good deal? Do you think it's a bad deal? Do you think it don't matter because it's a 1 year, $3 million deal? Check out my website, analysisplayground.com. Link in the description in the comment section below. Check out my Facebook page, analysisplayground.com. Link in the description, comment section below. Like on Facebook to show support, but also check out my t-shirts. They'll be on my Facebook page, and I'm gone.